one.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? YouTube land, Bill Mack here, the middleman, once again back with another edition. Today we are going to break down the President Trump's interview with Fox News' Bill O'Reilly last night before the Super Bowl. There's kind of been they touched on quite a few different issues with President Trump on his stance with Iran, his relationship with Putin. His relationship and how he feels about California and them trying to decide whether they're going to be a sanctuary state, and also his relationship with the Mexican president and the U.S.'s involvement and help with the drug cartel. But today, specifically, we're going to just break down his small part of the interview that Bill had with President Trump on his stance with Putin. There's been a lot of speculation over the course from stating back to where the election was and Russians' part in the hacking during the election, how Trump really feels about Putin, whether they get along really well. A lot of Putin has spoke in favor of President Trump throughout his time, and a lot of and so it's been kind of sketchy over the last few weeks. But here is his interview with Bill O'Reilly's particular questioning of President Trump about his relationship with President Putin of Russia. Just notice how he kind of is vague with some things. He's very good at sidestepping where he agrees one hand, but he doesn't agree with the other. He likes it in one hand, but he don't know. But, U.S. has had a strained relationship with Russia ever since President Putin has taken over Russia and basically made it a dictatorship. But we'll see how as we go along and how President Trump is answering Bill O'Reilly's questions. So let's go ahead and get this started.
You talked to Putin last week. You had a busy week last week.
Busy week and a half.
Do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get...
Okay. He asked him, did he respect Putin? And he said, sure. So we automatically know, the U.S. has had a strained relationship, and it's been very strained for reasons. And what Putin has said previously about the United States, previously about the previous Obama administration, and that has been in power basically since his whole come to power in Russia. So now he says, well, yeah, I respect him. So why would you respect him? His reply back is what factors about him he respects. He's like, I respect a lot of people. And with that, so what does that tell you about President? Kind of sidestep. Well, here's why I don't appreciate him. Here's why I don't. Here's the things about him that I respect about him, but yet he doesn't. He just says, well, I respect, a lot of people. But we're talking about the president of a strained relationship with their country. What facts would you have, or what reasons would you have for respecting someone that the U.S. has had a strained relationship with over the last decade or so?
Get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not.
But why haven't we gotten then if that's been the case over the past few years? Why would we? We've had so many different things happen. The U.S. has opposed Russia's trying to overtake the Ukraine, and so much going on. It's very heartening to see that it's better for us to get along than not necessarily, because the U.S. is out to try to help those countries and need to help those countries to be stable, to avoid tyranny of these countries going in, such as Russia, trying to take over these other places that go along. You would think the man deals with the U.S., but we see as in situations like this, he's a leader of a country, but you don't respect other leaders of other countries. So that's kind of a sour and very weak excuse, Mr. President, why you have respect for one of our common common countries that we have a strained relationship with.
Russia helps us in the fight against ISIS, which is a major fight, and Islamic terrorism all over the world.
Right.
That's okay. So that's what he's saying. He's saying, okay, well, I respect them because I'm willing to help them if they're willing to help us in the fight against ISIS. But it's not about that. I mean, we've been fighting ISIS this whole time, and or attempting to in other countries, but Russia hasn't really shown what it wants to do with that. They're pretty much, they can say one thing and do another. That's so easy with a policy, but to say, well, it's good for us to be allies with them in our fight against ISIS. Sure, that's what you're trying to tie in with it. But if that's the case, then why is it so strained? Then, if we need them so badly for our fight against ISIS.
Major fight. That's a good thing. Will I get along with him? I have no idea.
Okay, will he get along with him? He respects him because he's a leader, but will he get along with him? These guys, we've seen the very tactics and things that were used during the election, the evidence and things that they've had in Trump, and Trump has seen these things. And why would you have blatant disrespect, saying, "Well, I don't know, if I will get along"? Well, Mr. President, you do kind of want to promote trying to get along with other countries, regardless. But it's understanding of what you're trying to say, and trying to say, well, let's all fight against ISIS. Let's turn the attention to the terrorism and fighting the terrorism together. Unity. I understand bringing that, but real people can really see through those things based on what's happened over the last few months dealing with Russia and what it's had in relation to Donald Trump's election. Not only necessarily say that he had anything to do with it, but just the fact that there's so much in tow with the connection with Russia and with the U.S., and particularly Donald Trump during this election and his presidency now as he begins his presidency.
He's a killer. Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why do you think our country's so innocent?
Oh, he said he would call. Bill O'Reilly called President Putin a killer. Now, Trump kind of thinks before he does it. I can kind of understand why Trump won't necessarily say that, agree and call Putin a killer. Because you don't want to be a leader. You don't want to be perceived as that person that called them out there. That, to me, is a very bad sign. You don't want to have people out there and dealing with what's going on and having people to go out there and our president call another person a killer on national TV. That's a bad press, bad image for him to do that. If you're going, don't publicly state it over the air. Now, what you do in your own circle is different. Be very mindful of what you say. Be very careful what you say. Now, sometimes the media is extremely left, and they're going to turn things around, but I didn't necessarily disagree with how he handled with this, he said. But he said there's a lot of killers around us. So we continue on further on as Bill tries to get more in touch with him about this situation, go into more detail about it and how Trump feels about it. He said there's a killer, and there's killers everywhere.
You think our country's so innocent?
I don't know of any government leaders that are killers.
Well, take a look at what we've done too.
Oh, now see, now he's trying to say, well, we're just as bad as anybody else. That's a hard stance to go, folks, because the U.S., we see daily that these strikes, we see these daily fights against terrorism. We know also that in these fights and terrorism, there are casualties, and whenever we lose a soldier like we did last week, and we mentioned and we remember our soldiers, but also remember there are a lot of civilians that are killed during this war on terrorism. And so that's what I guess Trump is trying to say, is that, we've done a lot ourselves, even though it's for the common good. There's going to be casualties in war. We've killed people as well. So I take that's what he's trying to point out, is the U.S. is no different than any other country, but we're not rightfully killing people. President Obama never said, well, we want this person dead. But that's what Bill is trying to say, is that I don't know of any other country where Putin is blatantly, murdering his people and having these people murdered, except maybe Hillary Clinton.
Made a lot of mistakes. I've been against the war in Iraq from the beginning.
Okay, and as we see, we'll be right back and take this break, and I'll comment on this. So just hold on, and I'll be right back. So President Trump says that he has been against the war in Iran, And we're going to, before we really get into that, and really I was just going to basically focus on as far as Putin, his relationship with Putin, folks. It's very up in the air. You've noticed the points he made in this, talking about him having, he respects President Putin. Will he get along with him? He doesn't know, but he respects all other kinds because he's a president, a leader of a country. And so we see his point very vague in how he feels about President Putin, which we've done videos before of his relationship with Putin, how much in favor Putin is of him. Yeah, but now he's his president. I can understand some of the things he pointed out in the videos we just watched in his discussions about how he felt as far as the killing in the country, and all the killings that Putin has done over in his country. We've seen all the things done. There's a lot of stuff behind the doors of presidency, of no matter or leaders of countries that people know about. It's said, but it's really not. It's not really publicly said. Of course, in Russia they have their own way of handling things with the media. You really can't talk bad about the president. Really can't talk bad about or criticize like we do in the U.S. That's why I'm very glad that we live in our country like we do. It just remains to be seen as we go further into his presidency. This is still the first few weeks of his presidency, and we've seen the many choices that he has made so far, such as the South Dakota the pipeline, such as also the Keystone Pipeline. We've seen the travel ban now that's going to the Supreme Court. But just basically and particularly with this decision, we just have to wait and see. A lot of people draw opinions beforehand. There's been a lot of protests out and things, but a person can say one thing and do totally another. I'm more of a person to say, give them a chance, see what they do, see what decisions they make. There's a lot of people don't agree with them. That's why we see the protests, the marches and things. Continue doing all you want, folks, and no matter how hard you try and protest, do all that. It's your right to do that, but doesn't mean that he's going to go away. He's not just going to step down. Unless he does something illegal, he's going to be the president for the next 4 years. So it might as well be for us to get together and try to hope that he's effective. We want him to be successful as president, because if he's successful, our country's in good shape. If we choose for Donald Trump to fail, then he's the leader of our country, as so our country would fail. So I think Matthew McConaughey was talking about that the other day. He's like, look, you may not like it, but it's time for us to try to pull together as one country, embrace the fact that knowing that he is president, there's nothing we can do about it if you voted for him or if you didn't vote for him. He's the president regardless. We have to pull together as a country. We have to stand strong, and we have to basically accept him as president and just hope that he succeeds. The more that he succeeds, the better it is for us as being a country that will succeed as well. We want the president to fail. I think Morgan Freeman mentioned that a while back. He's like, look, you got to hope the man does a good job. You don't want Trump to fail, because if Trump fails, that means our status in the United States and our in the condition that we're in isn't going to be any better. And we don't wish to have a bad direction. We don't wish to be in worse shape than what we're already in. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. It was a bit interesting, and when he was talking about Putin, and that's one of the main situations in which Donald Trump talked about. There's many more other things that he did discuss, such as they were getting ready to talk about Iran and the relationship with Iran being a terrorist state. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I said, subscribe if you enjoyed these type of videos. Like I said, not very long. Enjoy it. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content. Give a like on this video. And until next time, this is the Middleman. I am Bill Mack, folks, and I am out of here.